Hello world, Shelly here, and it's time for another episode of Foundation Fest, and today I am checking out from Makeup Revolution the Skin Silk Serum Powered Foundation. Retails for $14 for 1 ounce or 30 milliliters of product. Comes in 20 different shades. I've got this in shade F7, which is described as light neutral. I went with that number based on my previous experiences with other similarly numbered foundations in the Makeup Revolution line. They describe this as a soft as silk, light as air, powered by skincare foundation. Whew. Makeup Revolution's first ever light to medium coverage skin loving serum foundation is here, enriched with hyaluronic and peptide complex. That's not the way you phrase that. To plump and hydrate your complexion, hyaluronic acid and a peptide complex. Anyway, grammar aside, I did look into the ingredients. It appears to be a pretty typical silicone-based foundation. It does have added fragrance, pretty high up in the ingredient list, like a third to a halfway down, far before all of the skincare peptide ingredients. So that says to me there's not a whole lot of skincare in here. You know my beliefs. Do not count on skincare in a makeup product to replace any of your actual skincare routine. Nice little bonus, glad it's there, not mad at it, but it doesn't really count. This is getting 3.5 out of 5 stars on Ulta's website. Only 28 reviews so far. It's a pretty new product, so let's take a look at shade F7, swatched against a few others in my collection. Swatch time. First up is today's foundation from Makeup Revolution, the Skin Silk Foundation in shade F7. Second, I've got from Estee Lauder, the Double Wear Stay in Place in 1C1 Cool Bone. Third up is MAC Studio Sculpt in NW15. And last, I've got from Wet n Wild, the Tinted Hydrator in Fair. I've already cleansed, moisturized, and sunscreened this 49-year-old face. I have primed with my handmade bakuchiol cream, which you can get your hands on. It is almost sold out, but don't worry, because as soon as I finish filming this first part of this video, I'm going out to my workshop to make more. So, the current batches I'm making are yellow because I had gotten a new supplier of the bakuchi oil that was a little less refined, closer to natural, which meant it hadn't been made clear. But that supplier went through the roof on pricing, so once I run out of this, the bakuchi oil that's in this one, that makes it slightly yellow, which you can't see on your face, like I've got it on right now, then I'm gonna have to go back to my old supplier, which, upside, the lotion stays white because the bakuchi oil is clear, but it's a little more refined, and they're approximately the same strength, so it's not really a difference at the end scheme of things. But if I have a choice, I'd rather stay closer to natural. Anyway, you don't need to know any of this, but it was in my head because I'm about to go make some more of it. But once I run out of my preferred closer to natural bakuchi oil, then we're going to have to go with the more refined one. But the lotion will be white again, whatever, we'll be good. Let's take a look at the consistency of this one. Ooh, I forgot to tell you, I'll go in on one side of my face with a damp sponge, other side BK Beauty 101. We'll see if there is a preference one way or the other. Alright, let's see how runny or not. Alright, I'm probably going to need 2 pumps, I'm guessing. Let's just put it on here while we're here. There's our drip factor. Alright, so shade-wise, if I went any lighter, I think I could still wear it, because I have some that are F5, and they're fine, but they're more winter shade for me. So since we're approaching spring, I figured I'd go like the step darker for, you know, spring, summer, fall. I really could get away with either way. And when I do have lighter shades, I just bronze them up a little bit more. And that way I can still use them year round. But the shade actually looks like a pretty good match for me, because my skin is still in the dead of winter. Oh, these furry hairs. I'm trying not to get... So whenever I clip my hair back like this to do my makeup, my bangs end up parting and then they don't go back to being flat. And so I'm trying to, like, clip them in a loose way so that they don't get messed up. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Pretty sheer coverage with a sponge. Minimal color correction, but not a whole lot going on with a sponge application. Let's see how the brush does. Typically, what did I get all over my face? What is these little dark, like dirt spots? What have I done? I don't know. Alright, let's see here. It's a smidge dark of a shade, but not really. Dark would be overstating it. It's just like a smidge darker than my actual skin tone. Which is okay because my arms are actually, I usually go to match my arms, and my arms are a little darker than my face is naturally, so this is actually a pretty good shade match for me, I think. Alright, yeah, it's slightly higher coverage with the brush. I can just tell from how much redness is visible on my chin. Maybe I didn't need 2 pumps. I'm going to have a lot left over. Let's try and even this out just a smidge. Gotta get the blue blood vessel over here. You know that guy. Always trying to be the death of me. Alright. It does seem easily buildable. And actually pretty significantly buildable. Look, the sunspots have pretty well vanished. So, pretty nice. And in fact, I'd call it impressively buildable. Like, very seamless looking. I can't tell that I built it up there, except for the fact that the sunspots have nearly vanished. Alright. I was worried about this one because the reviews... I didn't read the reviews, but the rating is not great. But at a first glance, I think it looks okay so far. Very nice job blurring pores and texture, I think. Like, very minimal. Most of my pores that are visible are like right around that area of my cheeks. And they're pretty smooth. I'm barely seeing them. Even my nose looks pretty nice. Let me zoom in so you can see what I'm seeing. Pretty smooth looking in terms of texture and pores. The product doesn't seem too heavy anywhere, like even on my upper lip or on my nose, which are usually trouble spots for me. It is looking pretty good. In between my eyebrows, I can see the product on my skin just a little bit, but it's not caking up or anything really. Forehead still looks fine. It doesn't look like it's accentuating lines. It does look like it has the potential to look a little dry on my forehead. We'll see how that goes as it kind of sets down to the rest of my face and warms up to my body temp and all that good stuff, but at first pass, I'm gonna say it looks pretty, like a nice little sort of silky veil going on over everything. Okay, this is why I don't read reviews before I review my own, because I don't want to be biased by what other people thought of the thing. But look how much I have left over, so I really did not need to put a second pump down. That's a lot left over. All right, 1 pump seems to do ya. Let me check. 3:01 is the time. Let me go put the rest of my face on. I will be right back. Back with the Makeup Revolution Skin Silk. I did go back in and apply this as concealer because I was going to film a concealer review of the ColourPop No Filter Concealer, which I was able to pick up on sale recently and I had not reviewed before, and then realized today that the reason it was on sale was because they were discontinuing it. Because, nope, he gone. So, I did not bother to review that, so I put this up as concealer. It is performing fine. I don't see any issues going on. I'm not having any trouble. No trouble blending, no trouble with anything. I think it got a smidge darker as it dried down, so this is, you know, approaching more of a summer shade. It's really not too far off, but a little bit of, I wouldn't say oxidation, I'd say we were still in the dry down phase. Oxidation's like over time as the day goes on, when it's interacting with oxygen and having a negative shade impact that way. Dry down pretty much happens with all foundations. Some will change color as they dry down, some won't. Most will adjust at least a tiny bit from what they look like wet. So I would say this is dry down, not oxidation. But yeah, so on the rest of my face, we have Balm Desert Bronzer, e.l.f. Primer Infused Blush in Always Rosy. My highlight is so obsessed. You know I don't throw that word around. The What's Up Beauty Serengeti highlighter. I mean, come on. Come on. Do you see this? It's put me right back into like the bling highlighter phase of my life, which did I ever really leave that phase? Barely. Wearing an eyeshadow palette that I don't think gets enough love. Natasha Denona Retro Glam. I mean, is it given too much Christmas, this choice? I don't know. Maybe it is. I don't know. I like it. I think it is retro looking. I think it is neutral, especially for you winter color story people. You know, the people that look best in the winter colors. It's kind of like you can do a really nice neutral-ish eye look that is just a little bit more visually interesting than a typical neutral. You know, it just got a little bit of like retro pop to it. I don't know. I like it. I think it's very like classy and like mid-century modern vibes. That's what I get from that palette. I love it. I love that palette. That's happening. My mascara is Color Street Triflex. My Tightline is the CoverGirl Perfect Point Plus pencil. My lip is Color Street High Gloss Lip Oil. These are restocking in March. Am I wearing anything else? Lips, eyes. Did I say mascara? Yes. Tightline. Face. I think I got it all. Okay. I'm not going to go get a sandwich today. I'm going to go out in the workshop and make some bakuchiol cream. And I think I'm going to make a magnesium lotion today. And we'll see how that goes. I already have a lotion recipe that I like. So this will be me injecting some magnesium in there. And we'll see how that goes. And yeah, I'll come back in a bit, give you guys daylight check-in. Come back tonight, give you my final thoughts. Hey guys, it's about 20 after 5 right now. Here is where we are at with the Makeup Revolution. Feels a little bit drying, but nothing terrible going on. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to step into any direct sun. I think there might not be enough direct sun. Ooh, there we go. Look at that highlight. There's your sunlight. And yeah, so that's where we're at. A couple hours in. I'll be back tonight and we'll wrap this one up. 10:53 p.m. That puts us right around the 8-hour mark. Let's take a look at how the Makeup Revolution Skin Silk Foundation held up. It held up pretty well. My only complaint is it does feel drying to me. Like it's, I want to wash it off. Like it's not the worst. It's just, my skin's a little bit tight, a little bit itchy. Please stop scratching my chair, Ziva. Life with cats. But it looks really good. It stayed put. It settled just the tiniest bit into my deeper chin line down here, but it didn't settle into any other lines. I'm looking in my 10X. Pores are still pretty nicely blurred. Texture's still blurred. The only thing I'm seeing is like the drag lines that I get when my skin feels dehydrated at that outermost layer. But blush, bronzer, highlights stayed intact. Like, Highlights still banging. Let me zoom you guys in. Let's show you what's going on. It didn't even break apart that bad on my chin, and that always happens. It's breaking down just a little bit on my chin at this point, but I did have to blow my nose. What else is new? So I am missing some product on my nose, but nothing went haywire with that. But like I said, blush, bronzer, highlights still intact. It held up pretty well as a concealer as well. It didn't settle into my lines under my eyes. It didn't, you know, smooth them out the way a good concealer does. But, you know, in a pinch, I would just quickly run and gun with one pass there and not do a separate concealer. Looks fine on my forehead. Like, it's settled down. I'm kind of surprised. I'm gonna have to see why the reviews are low on this one, because I think it held up pretty nicely. If I had to give a grade to the Revolution Skin Silk, I'm gonna go A-. I think if you have dry skin, you might be in a little bit of a predicament here, because it does feel a bit drying to me. But other than that, I think it looks quite nice and it wore pretty well, and we're gonna go A- on this one. There you have it. Another episode of Foundation Fest is in the books. If you like foundation reviews, if you had fun with this one, give me a thumbs up down below. I was able to get my Bakuchiol made, so that is fully restocked, and I added one new thing to my shop tonight. 2 different scents, well, unscented and cherry almond of a magnesium body lotion. So check that out, shop GOOW.com. As always, thanks a lot for taking some time out of your day to geek out over makeup with me. I appreciate your time, and I hope you guys all have an awesome day or night wherever you are in the world. Take care of each other. Bye-bye.